Over the years, I have definitely pushed the boundaries of what is considered normal, but this latest venture might just take the cake.
If you've been paying attention, honestly, you probably could have seen this coming. How's it feel?
Currently, scary. You can't pee in this. You've got your own litter box. We're making our own.
I never thought that I'd be able to say that I'm the owner of a composting toilet. It's kind of gross. Good morning, everyone. Sidestepping river. Welcome to another vlog. Right now I am looking at a schematic that Stuart drew up for a composting toilet. This is a very rough sketch of our bathroom and how the composting toilet will sit in there and how we're going to build it. And on Etsy I am looking at urine diverters, which is not something that I thought I would ever say, but here we are. And if you've been paying attention, honestly, you probably could have seen this coming, because a few videos ago I made a comment about how, just given our lifestyle and how much we really love not having to be attached to a grid and not having to worry about being in campgrounds, composting toilets have begun to make more and more and more sense. And actually, it's become a bit of a necessity, because when we go back to Texas, we aren't going to be going back to a campground. We're actually going to be living on a patch of family land, and we'll have electricity, but there's no sewer there, and to dig one would really be a huge undertaking, and it's kind of gross. And knowing what I know now about composting toilets, being a little bit more educated on them, they're honestly the more sanitary route to go. And so while we're here visiting my family in Indiana, we're going to begin to build one, which is super exciting. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. There's really nothing to them, but there's definitely a trip to Lowe's in our future. It's probably what we're going to be doing today, is going and gathering the materials that we need. Really don't need a whole lot, just some lumber and a toilet seat and a bucket, and then we're going to be ordering a urine diverter from Etsy probably. There are lots of different ways to do composting toilets, but we didn't want to break the bank, this being our first time, and also given the fact that we aren't going to be keeping this RV forever. We want it to look really good, we want it to work really well, we don't want it to cost an arm and a leg. So that's what's happening over here today. This is hilarious to me, because I never thought that building a composting toilet would be something that I would be doing. But I also never thought that I would be living in 200 square foot of space and absolutely loving it. So life just takes you on a ride sometimes. So yesterday we got everything all drawn out and ready to cut, and then realized that we left everything that we would need to do that back in our cargo trailer in Texas, because obviously we weren't planning on doing something like this when we left. But luckily my dad has some power tools he's going to lend us, and I'll show you guys. We have everything ready to go. We just have to cut it and assemble it, and we ought to be able to get the frame assembled pretty quickly to get an idea of how it's going to look in the bathroom.
Your vlog?
No. Nobody wants to watch a dog pee on things.
You should keep this audio in here.
Currently, scary.
Where have you been? I've been looking for a place
have the box that the toilet seat and then the bucket is going to be inside. This part here is going to be the lid, and then this is going to be cut and then hinged so that it can lift up this way. It's gonna be a pretty good design. We're not gonna cut a hole for the toilet seat until our urine diverter gets here, which really shouldn't be too much longer because we ordered it from a pretty good shop on Etsy, and everybody said the shipping was really, really quick. So it's all coming together pretty quickly. I mean, it's a pretty basic design. The only trick is going to be that this thing is small and there has to be enough room for the bucket slash the toilet, plus a bucket for trash and something to hold the shavings, which is what we're going to be using for compost. So we'll figure all of that out at some point, but the main idea is already here and it's come together pretty well.
Are you gonna plan on painting it or staining it or what?
Painting it. I'll just probably paint it the same tan color as the walls in the RV, just so that it kind of blends in with everything. I figure that's way easier than sanding it all down and trying to stain it and get it to look right. And stain is kind of messy, and honestly I'd rather just paint. At this point I am a pro painter. Hey, that'll work.
Today is Sunday and we have the box all finished up for the toilet. We have to wait to cut the lid out because we're gonna wait till the urine diverter gets here. I think I said that yesterday. Right now we have to figure out how to clamp the hose that was sending water to the toilet that's in here now, because obviously we're not gonna be using it anymore. That's gonna be a little bit of a challenge, but I think we'll be able to get it figured out. We just have to find a workaround.
Give me that camera, I'll show you what she's talking about. Alright.
Basically, right there is where Flexos attaches to the PEX piping. And we're going to take this part off and cap it. That's it. It's just hard to get to.
It's almost 10 o'clock at night, but we have success.
We had to cut out that T that I had shown earlier and essentially get two couplers and join them together just to create a little bit extra length. And shout out to Rebecca's dad for keeping the PEX that I gave him whenever we did this same kind of thing to get our washing machine working last year.
Seems like it should do the trick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's 3D printed. Very neat. And it doesn't look like an automotive funnel. High class.
Lucy wants to see it too.
Look, you can't pee in this. You've got your own litter box. We're making our own. Why are you licking me?
It's like a glove.
A little bit of nip and tuck, smash and wedge, and she's in there.
And just like that, our fancy new composting toilet is installed. Well, almost. We have a couple of things that we still need to do. Namely, I need to paint this so that it matches the rest of the bathroom, and then Stuart needs to run to Lowe's to get a piece of tubing to run from the urine diverter to the jug that we're going to collect in. So those two things still have to happen, but other than that, we're almost done. We patched the hole in the floor with a piece of wood. It was kind of a trial and error thing. Stuart just had to run back and forth a bunch of times from the saw to the hole and back again to make sure that he got it to fit, but we got that plugged and sealed. There's still a hole where the flooring obviously doesn't meet, but the new toilet is going to be over that, so we really don't think that it matters all that much. And then we cut out one side of the toilet so that we would be able to reach the shelf under there, and it's the perfect place to store toilet paper. Honestly, it's like this whole space was intended for something like this, and now that I see it in here, Stuart and I both honestly like it a lot more than the original toilet. It just seems to match the whole vibe of the room a whole lot more, and I honestly think I'm gonna lean into the whole outhouse thing. I think it's pretty cool. So anyway, I'm gonna start taping and then we're gonna start painting. As per usual with all of our DIY projects, we're finishing this one up kind of late in the day. Although it's not quite sundown, so I guess we're doing better than we usually are, but our compost toilet is complete. For the most part. We were supposed to grab some shavings when we went to town and we forgot those, but if we want to go tinkle in the potty, we can do that. So I painted the whole box and it looks really, really nice. Went with a wood toilet seat. We thought that that would look the best. If you lift it up here, you can see the bucket. We have a garbage bag in there for now. We can do compostable bags at some point, or we can just continue to use a garbage bag depending on how we're going to be disposing of that waste. Our fancy pee funnel is right here, and then if we lift this up, give you a little sneak peek to the interior, we have a piece of hose going from the funnel down to this jug, and then we have a little waste basket for paper, and then over on this side we'll probably end up keeping an extra thing of shavings so that every time we go we can put it in there. So super easy, pretty simple DIY composting toilet. It took us about a week to finish, but that's only because we were waiting on the pee funnel to come in from the Etsy shop. Other than that, I mean, it really only took us like 3 days of working to complete it, and that wasn't even with us going as fast as we could have gone. We really took our time with it. So now we have a composting toilet, which is pretty crazy. I never thought that I'd be able to say that I'm the owner of a composting toilet, but here we are. I'm really happy with it.